Hello, I'm Javier Harkeen, and this is Harking Back, a podcast about the pop culture of a lifetime. Whose life? Mine. I'm going back through every year I've been alive and finding out what was going on in that year. This week we are looking at 1999. I was in sixth form, I was 16, and at the start of this year, I got dumped. I got dumped hard. This was my first proper relationship. We'd been together for about a year. Thereabouts, maybe a bit. I can't remember. It was around a year, just before, just over, something like that. I remember. I don't actually remember too much about the breakup, like not the specifics. I don't. It's funny. I can't actually. I guess my mind has blocked it out somehow to protect me or something. But I can't remember where it was, what she said exactly. But I do remember her like looking down a lot, and I remember feeling like I was suddenly very heavy, and at one point I just suddenly felt very conscious of how still I was being. I was like, I was just remember thinking like, she's dumping me, and I was like, you haven't moved an inch, thinking about myself, you haven't moved at all in a long time. And I remember thinking like, you should move just to look human or something. I also remember it felt like time was slowing down. Like every sentence she was saying, like I wasn't saying much, when you're getting dumped, you just kind of sit there and go, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening. I'm getting dumped. And this was the first time. Welcome to being an adult. I remember moving very slowly and it was all very weird, but I got dumped hard. And, I did that thing where I just kept all the I had a box. And I kept all the letters we'd written to each other. Yes, we wrote, that's one thing in the 90s that was lovely. We wrote letters, actual handwritten letters to each other. It was nice because you couldn't text because we didn't have cell phones. And also the first cell phones could only text 20 characters or something. I don't know. Anyway, I kept that box for ages. And, do you know what was awful? We'd said, we did the whole, we could still be friends sort of thing. And I think in a way I really wanted to believe that because I probably thought that's a way of getting back together. And I just remembered something really, this is so pathetic. Her next boyfriend she got with, I can't remember how long. To me, I remember I wasn't over her. So that long, whatever that is to you. She got with a new guy and she was having problems with him. So they'd got together long enough to have some problems. And I remember talking on the phone with her about her new boyfriend and their problems. And I was kind of helping her through, like talking her through that, going, oh, you guys are going to be great. You're going to be fine. What the fuck? This is so... What am I doing? I remember hanging up the phone after we talked, just thinking like, what is this? What am I doing? I just felt like the biggest loser. I'm like, I'm helping my ex-girlfriend with her new guy after being done. Like, people talk about being friend-zoned as like the most pathetic place to be. Well, hold my beer. I will raise you being dumped and then helping your ex-girlfriend get through her relationship with her new boyfriend, talking her through that. Oh my God, what a... Ugh. That's just given me the when you remember something in your past that you haven't thought about in ages and it cringes and my shoulders are riding up right now just going, oh, what was I doing? Like in a really cheesy way, I do remember that conversation and I do just remember she was upset and I did just want her to be happy. I do remember that. But the details surrounding that, what are they doing? Dude, that's not your job anymore. Dude, just, she's got friends for that now. I do remember actually when I was able to finally like throw the letters away. That was a nice feeling. Like I used the box for something else. But, for the longest time I'd look at them and sometimes I'd reread them and it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Right, what else? What's things that happened in 1999? 1999. For most of the year, people were just shit scared of Y2K. Remember that? That fear-mongering that around the world? This was so bizarre because everyone was so scared about it happening. And no one really knew what was going to happen, but everyone knew we would all find out immediately 1 second after midnight. So if you don't remember what Y2K was, there was a big scaremongering. It wasn't scaremongering. I think some people genuinely were like, well, we don't know what's going to happen. The problem was that dates on computers and everything digital, and everything was starting to become digital then. A lot of the time, the date format on those things would be, just have two numbers for the year, like from, going 97, 98, 99. And when it was going to go to the year 2000, that would click over again back to 00. And everyone was going, I don't know how computer systems and digitized systems are going to deal with this, because maybe the computer suddenly thinks like, are we at 1900, not 2000? And people were talking like the planes are going to fall out of the sky, the stock market's going to crash, the banks are going to fail. Like everyone was going a bit crazy. So you had people going, no, that's going to be fine. And you had other people going, just pull all your money out now, get provisions, the world's going to end. And I believe them because I'd just been dumped. And in the end, nothing happened. Everything was fine. And I think some people just ended up with a lot more cans in their houses than they thought they needed or would ever need. Also in 99, the euro becomes the official currency for 12 European nations. Thank God. Oh, can you imagine the rigmarole of going from because when you go to Europe, Europeans travel across to European countries so easily and so freely, and I can only imagine what a pain in the ass it would have been to, what do we got here? Oh, we've got to switch from francs to, what did they even use in Spain before that? Is it, I can feel it, pesos? Was it pesos? Going over to Greece and there was drachmas. Was that I don't know. It's funny to think about the old currencies, what they used to use. But yes, the euro just would have come. Europeans would have been going, yes, please give us this one size fits all. Thank you so much. So we get the euro in 99. Let's look at the songs of 99. Let me paint you a picture of the MTV soundscape of 99. Things like Genie in the Bottle comes out, and we first get Christina Aguilera gets her first big single out there, Livin' La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin, when he was still totally straight, ladies. He's singing about a lady. See, he's totally straight. Love him. I think Ricky Martin might be one of the first celebrities I looked at, just like, he is a beautiful man. Just like, I knew I wasn't having any sort of weird feeling, but I was just looking at him like, God damn, he is a gorgeous man. And clearly likes other gorgeous men now. All Star by Smash Mouth comes out. Last Kiss by Pearl Jam, which is, it's a cover. I didn't know this for ages, because, it came out and it was like that kind of grungy state of the 90s. Was it? What's the end of the 90s? Anyways, that kind of grungy Pearl Jam feel. And apparently it's a cover they did for a friend, and they released this as a single. They don't apparently sing it at their concerts because they don't like doing it. I didn't realize it was a cover because the original is this 1950s rock song. If you remember the song, it's about a guy who gets in a car crash with this girl and she dies. And, the chorus goes, oh, where can my baby be? The Lord took her away from me. She's gone to heaven, so I've got to be good so I can see my baby when I leave this world. Heartbreaking lyrics. And then you listen to the original, and it's this boppy, upbeat kind of finger snapping kind of tune. And this is way too happy to be talking about someone dying in your arms in a car crash. Anyway, go listen to it. It's quite funny. Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz. I want to get away. I love this song because this was the first time after I'd been dumped that there was an event on somewhere, it was a big kind of dance party somewhere, and a lot of school friends were there, and I saw my ex with her new boyfriend, and I didn't care. I remember that was the night I suddenly realized I'm over you, and I think when I saw it, I went, oh God, she's with her new boyfriend, and I suddenly realized I'm okay with that. I'm totally cool with that. I'm having a good time, and I don't care. And this song came on when I had that realization, and I danced so hard to this song with my friends. And this song will always be forever in my heart, a lovely song of liberation and just moving on. Ironically, not Moving On Up by the End People, but Fly Away by Lenny Kravitz. It's a banger. Let's look at the top 5 songs of 99. At number 5, Baby One More Time, Hit Me Baby One More Time by Britney Spears. The start of this was Britney Spears' first huge single. So we got Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears in 99 launching. They're both going to be huge music icons. It's really sad now that when we see Britney, when you think of Britney Spears now, you kind of see this tragic figure now that went a bit off the rails. You know, she married that K-Fed loser, shaved her head, and we were all like, what's wrong with Britney? And now we realize, now we know it's because her dad was just the worst. Like, you know when they talk about parents living vicariously, and by the way, the word vicariously, does that ever get used in any other context? Anyway, when they talk about parents living vicariously through their children and how like that's a bit putting too much pressure on the child and like it's really unfair and it's not healthy. That is different to like these kids. What am I saying? I can do this. Britney's dad just flat out exploiting her. Like, you know, do you see the difference? Like, one is like, oh, I wanted to be famous and do singing, but now you can do it and you will do it and be, you know, support that. That's one thing. And the other thing is like looking at your kid doing that and going, I can make so much money off this kid. Like, that's a real piece of shit move. And I think you're seeing this a lot on social media, on YouTube, like these kids channels, and then suddenly years later, and you've seen several examples of this, years later you find out like the parent was pressuring them to do it because they realize they're making a shitload of money, and then these kids end up like emancipating themselves from their parents. It's sad. Like this, remember that kid Ryan's Toys from YouTube? This he was really young when it started. Now it doesn't work anymore because he would unbox toys, and it doesn't work anymore now because he's a teenager. And he's like, I don't want to unbox Paw Patrol shit. Anyway, apparently his parents, absolute monsters, pushing him. There is a family group in Australia of like about 4 boys, and their mum just kind of drives them out to different parts of the city. And they'll go live and they dance away, and she answers the questions of all like the fans tuning in. And then she goes, oh, okay, and this afternoon we'll be here, and this evening we'll be here. She just drives them around and just kind of forces these kids to dance and dance and dance and dance, and just shoving the camera in their face. And when they're eating, like they're like, what are you eating? And do you think they'd just be like, Mum, turn the fucking camera off, please? She's totally pushing that. Anyway, and also there was the girl who was a living doll, her mum. Anyway, I'm sure if you just Google, you'd find documentaries aplenty. Anyway, Britney Spears, there was a time when she was just an awesome pop star before we realized her dad ruined her life. Anyway, at number 4, Heartbreak Hotel by Whitney Houston. Houston? By Whitney Houston. I can do that. This is the start of the age of featuring, and you know they wouldn't say feature, they'd say feat. So this was Heartbreak Hotel by Whitney Houston. Why can't I say Houston? Whitney Houston, feat Faith Evans, feat Kelly Price. I didn't remember the song. I looked it up. It's the most generic R&B song. I just did a cruise recently, and there was a guy doing a soul show. Like he was just like, I love soul music. I'm going to sing soul music. Maybe I'm not a huge fan of the genre. I suddenly realized so much soul music sounds exactly the same to me. Maybe I just don't have the gene for that. Anyway, at number 3, Angel of Mine by Monica. Oh, this was a nice one. Angel of Mine. I'm adding that to my wife playlist. I don't know if I told you, but I've got a playlist on our smart speaker. One Valentine's Day, I just got all my wife's songs that I know she likes because she loves a lot of songs and she can never remember a song or who sang a song for the life of her. So I just put them all down in a playlist, and I just said, just ask Alexa to shuffle your wife playlist. It's got all the songs that I know you love on there. And every time I come across a new song, I can just add it to the playlist. And this is one of them because I know she would love that one. Number 2, No Scrubs by TLC. Thought they were down and out, TLC, but they came back with this one. I remember singing along to this and not knowing half of what I was saying. Scrub is the guy that like drinks a lot, is always known as a buster. I remember singing along to it and just going, I don't know what this means, but I feel cool singing along. And number 1, Believe by Cher. Cher, yes. The artist from the late 70s and 80s, Cher, in 99, has the song of the year with Believe. This is the one where they kind of cranked the auto-tune. They just, what I love about the song is they just went, what if we just went, like, just put the auto-tune to max? What would happen? And turns out you will get a number 1 hit. This is amazing for Cher. It's her best-selling single, by the way, and it's 20 years after her first album. 22 decades later, she does her best and most successful song. It would be like if I had a look at what, 20 years ago, like if a band that came out in 2004, like if Gwen Stefani or Franz Ferdinand or Ashley Simpson released a song now, today, and it was their best one. Can you believe how unbelievable that is? And yet Cher did it. You absolute legend. And by the way, I think that's the first time we've had an all-female top 5 in the songs. Well done. Go girls. Look at me. I'm an ally. Let's look at the games that came out in 1999. Again, look, I can't find the top 5, a definitive top 5 list, because the ones I have found, sometimes I've realized they're just for consoles, and I'm kind of trying to mix in PC games as well, because that's what I was playing. So let's just have a look at some of the games that came out in 99, some of the big ones, okay? Super Smash Brothers for the N64 comes out. I never played this, but people that play this look like they have so much fun, and this was how it was meant to be played. Like multiplayer games. This is the best era for multiplayer. Like when consoles, you could have 4 people or connect them up and have essentially everyone in the same room. Everyone playing on this game is in the same room. You're all on the same couch or whatever. This is the best. And the closest these days doesn't come close. Like imagine all your friends looking at the same TV, all in the same room, jumping up and down, looking at each other right there, smashing controllers away. And imagine, to get today's experience, you told everyone, okay, everyone's going to go to a different room in the house and shut the door, and you're going to put on headphones and talk to each other through microphones. Does that sound like fun? Yeah, that's fun, right? You guys like that, huh? Seriously, gaming in the 90s was the best. It was the best. Command & Conquer Tiberium's Sun comes out, and it was my first letdown. I remember I told you guys how much I loved the Command & Conquer series, the first and the second one, and then the third one comes out, and I got my grubby little mitts on it as fast as I could, and I was so excited to play it, and about 3 levels in, I was like, why do I not love this? And I wanted to love it so much, but I just had to face the facts that this is not a good game. Final Fantasy VIII comes out in 1999, not nearly as Final a fantasy as the previous game would have led you to believe. Tony Hawk Pro Skater comes out. I never played this, but my friends loved it. A game called Shenmue comes out, and it's the most expensive game ever made at the time for the Dreamcast. And it was, I think, looked it up, it cost $70 million to make in 99. That's so much money. I played a little bit of it, and it's very, very slow. I didn't like it so much. Street Fighter 3 comes out in 99, and it's released with surprisingly little fanfare for one of the most famous game franchises ever. Street Fighter. You think there would have been a huge song and dance about the release of the third one, but I don't remember seeing any advertising for it anywhere. I don't remember anyone talking about it. I just remember one day it just popped up in an arcade, and I walked past it, and I was like, that kind of looks like, and it said Street Fighter 3, and I had to do a double take and go, have they made a third one? Sure, but that came out very under the radar. And yeah, Street Fighter 2 was the pinnacle. Like, I know what are they up to now? Street Fighter 6, but Street Fighter 2 was where it's at. That's the classic. That's the one everyone remembers. Street Fighter 2 is the Terminator 2 of the Street Fighter series. It really is. Just before we move on from video games, there was a game called Dino Crisis. As I was doing the research for this, I just saw this name, Dino Crisis, and how can you not click on a game called Dino Crisis? What exactly is the crisis with these dinosaurs? If the 90s told us anything, it's if there's dinosaurs involved, you're going to have a crisis on your hands. It was a PS1 game made by Capcom, and it's a survival horror game with dinosaurs. And you're running from the dinosaurs, obviously. I wish I'd been in the room when this had been pitched. Just like, okay, guys, what do we got? What do we got? And someone would have said, okay, picture this. Dino Crisis. And someone would have gone, stop talking. Take all this money, make this game. I looked at the trailer for it, and it's Resident Evil with dinosaurs. One interesting thing about this game was the dinosaurs could knock your weapon out of your hand, which is something that, when you think about it, should happen a lot in a lot more games that we play. Like, you just drop your weapon, like in first-person shooters. If a grenade goes off a foot away from you, you will take damage, but you'll still hold on to your weapon. And also find it really amusing. No one's ever just thought to do this. Like, oh, what if we just knocked the gun out of her hand? And like, oh shit, that's a really good idea. Imagine playing this game where like a dinosaur gets in your face and you shove a gun in their face, and the raptor just like knocks the gun out of your hand, and you just sit there going, "Clever girl." Anyway, movies. Let's talk about movies in 1999, and oh, it's great. Great. Notting Hill comes out in 1999. Is this the one that really solidifies Hugh Grant as an A-lister now? Or an international star? Because I think he'd done Four Weddings and a Funeral before this. Anyway, Notting Hill is huge for him. And rewatching all these Richard Curtis movies after living in the UK is great. It's really good. The most annoying thing in this movie, there's a bit in this movie which every time I watch it, I actually almost have to skip this bit because it is infuriating. So Notting Hill, Hugh Grant, lowly Londoner bookstore owner, manages to have a relationship with international superstar, movie star Anna Scott, played by Julia Roberts. They go back to his place, and in the morning, the paparazzi have all found out that she's there, and he opens the door to get his paper, and there's just an army of photographers there, just like cameras flashing in his face, microphones shoved in his face. And he just shuts the door and is like, "Oh God, what the fuck was that?" And then Anna Scott comes down and she sees he's a bit like, "Whoa." And she goes, "What's going on out there?" And she's just in a nightie, like a borrowed t-shirt. And she opens the door and sees all the photographers and stuff. And she slams the door and suddenly she's like, "Oh my God, this is a terrible thing." What annoys me to this day, and I can't figure out why did he not stop her opening the door? Why did he not? He's just opened the door. He's seen photographers out there. Why is he not stopping her, grabbing her and going, "No, don't open the door"? Because all it does by him not doing anything, it just makes him look pathetic. And it makes you really not like him. And her, you might argue, but you want her to have that, "Oh God, the cameras are out there." She could have had that feeling anyway if he'd gone, "Don't go out there, there's photographers everywhere." And she could have gone, "Oh God, they found me, this is terrible," and still had the exact same outcome without making him look ridiculous. Anyway, if you know, let me know if you agree with me or not. American Beauty comes out in 1999. And American Beauty, this at the time was a fantastic movie about a man stuck in a midlife crisis in suburbia and how he escapes the monotony and manages to like reset his mind and his life, amidst other neighbors and other people in his life that are hiding behind appearances and images. And he's cutting through all the bullshit and finding what really is beautiful in his life again. Back then, that was it. But the particulars of this movie have aged like milk. Like, first off, it's Kevin Spacey. It's Kevin Spacey. Remember when Kevin Spacey was just a good actor? And now he's a good actor who's actually a very good predator as well. Anyway, regardless, it's Kevin Spacey. His character falls in love with his teenage daughter's friend. So he's, lusting after a minor. And he convinces her to sleep with him. And just at the last minute, she says, "I'm a virgin." And then he decides to stop. And the movie kind of quasi-praises him for this. Like, "Oh, what a good guy. He didn't have sex with the minor. Oh, he didn't have sex with his daughter's friend. What a hero." But yeah, the 90s movies, I think, are just a batch of movies that at the time we didn't know how problematic they were. Like, another movie that came out in 99 was American Pie. And I remember seeing this at the cinema and everyone just laughed their ass off to it and everyone loved it and everything. But again, incredibly problematic. It's about four guys leaving high school and they're just like, "Okay, we've got to get laid. We've got to get laid, no matter what the cost," which is not a great premise. All right? If you had a teenage boy and you found out that him and his friends had made a pact that they were all going to lose their virginity no matter what before prom, and then made this promise, like, that's a little concerning, isn't it? Right? What I wouldn't find concerning is if they said, "Okay, we're all going to have sex, okay? No matter what. So if you haven't found someone, you got to fuck each other, okay? Deal. Hands in. 1, 2, 3. Let's go." But like American Pie, not only is that problematic, there's a scene where Nadia is going to get changed in Jim's room, and he sets up a webcam secretly. He's secretly filming a girl getting changed, and it gets broadcast on the internet. Problematic. But in the 90s, it was hilarious. It was hilarious at the time. We were watching this scene, laughing our asses off. And years later, we were like, oh, God, that's not good to think about, is it? Other movies to paint you a picture of 99, movies that are coming out in 99, things like The World Is Not Enough, which was not a great... Again, this Bond movie had Robert Carlyle as the villain. And I was always irked by this because his deal was that he'd had an injury or like a bullet in his brain that had cut off... I think the exact explanation was it had cut off his sense of pain, and it was like dulling his senses, right? So he actually didn't feel pain anymore. Like he's lost his nerve endings. And I remember thinking, by that logic, anyway, they said it in a way that I was like, by this logic, shouldn't he also be going blind and deaf and not be able to taste anything? Because they said like, yeah, he's losing his senses, including his sense of pain, which was a big thing. I was like, so all his senses? Is Bond going up against a vegetable? What's going on here? The World Is Not Enough comes out. The Mummy, which is such a fun movie with Brendan Fraser and Rachel Weisz. Eyes Wide Shut. Mickey Blue Eyes comes out, another Hugh Grant movie. I like Mickey Blue Eyes, but only if I'm watching it with my wife, because Annie loves this movie for one reason, and that is Hugh Grant trying to do an American gangster accent. And when he does it, Annie starts laughing hysterically, and watching Annie laugh might be my favorite thing in the world, because I can't make her laugh. Like, nothing I do, she really finds it funny. She's always like, any bit of stand-up I do, she's like, why are people laughing at that? But if she starts laughing at, and there's certain bits in certain movies that I know that she will laugh at, and the Hugh Grant doing his American gangster accent is one of those bits, and she just starts laughing uncontrollably, and I have to be there when that happens, because that's my fave. Fight Club comes out in 99. Fight Club, watch it as an adult. Like, when you watch it as a young person, you're like, yeah, rebellion and stick it to the man and, society and everything. And I watched it again and I was like, Tyler Durden, you will get us all killed, you idiot. Yeah, with your anarchy and all this. One bit that annoys me about Fight Club, yes, this is my bitching about movies from the 90s podcast. Welcome to it. There's a bit where Tyler Durden, so, Fight Club going all against what society says that you should be and do and act. And Tyler Durden and the narrator are on a bus. Edward Norton and Brad Pitt are on a bus. And they've been fighting because they're men. And they see a Calvin Klein ad where there's this sculpted Calvin Klein model, like with abs and beautiful pecs and everything in his underwear. And Ed Norton looks at Brad Pitt and goes, is this what a man's supposed to look like? And they're like, ha ha ha, yeah, right. And in the very next scene, they've got Brad Pitt shirtless, fighting, looking equally as cut in a shot clearly designed to show off his physique. I find this incredibly hypocritical, David Fincher. Yeah, I see through you. I'm calling you out. Let's go to the top 5 movies of 99. Number 5, Tarzan by Disney. Didn't watch it, but I loved the Phil Collins soundtrack for this. I love that he was just like, yeah, I'll do every song on this soundtrack. No one else. Don't call Elton. I've got this. Number 4, The Matrix. Oh my God. I want to spend just a second, if just a millisecond, can put my guard down and tell the people how I feel a second. But listen to too much Hamilton. The Matrix. I'm going to talk about The Matrix for a little bit because where do we start? The marketing. Do you remember the marketing campaign for this? Was genius, which was just, what is The Matrix? And what is thematrix.com? Because this is the time where people started advertising websites. So no one really knew what the hell it was. And when you go to see the movie, it was like, oh my God, I get it now. The whole marketing campaign ties into what the movie is and everything. But it was just intriguing. I hadn't seen a marketing campaign like this before for a movie, just going, hey, what is this? And that's it. Just leaves you, doesn't answer any questions. It just asks you, hey, do you know what I am? And then runs away. And it's actually very intriguing, right? So I remember I went to go watch The Matrix. And I went and it blew me away. I remember sitting there and just mind blown. I could feel myself kind of like pressed back in my seat, like as if the movie theater was accelerating through, and like all these images and the movie was just washing over me, hitting me in the face like a steam train. And I came out of it, and all I wanted to do was, I think I came out kind of like shaking a little bit, and all I wanted to do was watch it again immediately. I think I even went directly to the box office to see the schedule, like if is it playing again. So like I was like a junkie, just like, when's the next one? When's the next hit? I need this. Okay, why is The Matrix so good? Everything. The aesthetic green tint in The Matrix compared to when they're outside, just beautiful stylistic color choices here. They've nailed their own style. Like the Matrix clothes. If I said to you a Matrix party, you can already imagine what everyone would be wearing. Just, tight leather, sunglasses, trench coat, everything. And remember, dominatrix is just the word matrix with a few more letters. The casting is incredible. Keanu Reeves does an amazing... Can you believe that Will Smith turned down the role of Neo so he could do Wild Wild West? I mean, I don't know what's a bigger regret. Turning down Neo or slapping Chris Rock. Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, Carrie-Anne Moss as Trinity, Hugo Weaving as Agent Smith, Joe Pantoliano as Cypher. It's just so good. And the performances are fantastic all the way, all over. Especially Hugo Weaving and Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. And it was, that's where we get, whoa. Like the philosophy behind The Matrix, like what is reality? The whole theory of questioning how can we even be sure that what we sense is real? The whole brain in the vat theory. But this is portrayed through the guise of a movie where people are fighting killer AI with kung fu. What the fuck? What an amazing mash of ideas and execution. The action is stellar. They invented bullet time for this. They invented a whole new, all the cameras there going at quickly. The fights are amazing. The set pieces in this movie, each one of the set pieces in The Matrix would be a standout moment in any other movie, but they're all here in one. Like Trinity's escape in the opening is incredible. The Morpheus-Neo dojo fight is incredible. The lobby shootout. Remember the lobby shootout? The rooftop bullet dodge scene? The Agent Smith-Neo subway fight? Like, they're all incredible. And what they love about the subway fight especially is like they've got their different styles of fighting. Like Neo is new to this, so he's improvisational and he's fluid. And Agent Smith is just brute force fighting style. Like it's all just direct attacks, always moving forward. It's amazing. By the way, Matrix is the reason I think you were able to get movies like John Wick, because they actually taught the actors kung fu. And this was the big thing. When you teach actors how to fight and train them how to fight properly, you can have longer, wider shots that actually show you them fighting. And it's clear what's going on rather than all these intricate quick cuts when people don't know what they're doing. So I think the training that Keanu Reeves got on The Matrix maybe enabled him to be able to do John Wick later on. The best bit in The Matrix, because on top of all this, like, if you're not even thinking about the action, the Agent Smith, I hate this place monologue is one of my favorite pieces of cinema ever. Like when he just takes off his earpiece and he goes, I hate this place. It's the smell. And he does this monologue about why he needs to get out of the Matrix. It's so good. I think it's Hugo Weaving's best work. You might say Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. It's definitely not Lord of the Rings, though he does a great job. He does a great job in everything he's in. But this Agent Smith monologue is so good. The other thing that I love about The Matrix that I still use in everyday life is, and I think a lot of people do maybe, is when the character Switch is about to die because they've been betrayed, and she looks up at Trinity and just goes, not like this. Not like this. Anytime something remotely unfortunate is going to happen in a day, like me and my friends will kind of say to each other, not like this. It's just a funny little thing that we say. Anyway, let me know if you use it. I'd like to hear it. So that was number 4. All right. Yes, I wanted to talk about The Matrix. It's so good. I want to go watch it right now. The sequels, we'll get to those in due time. Don't you worry. At number 3, in 1999, Toy Story 2. I mean, huge hit. Huge hit. This is a really good one. It's a really fun movie as well. By the way, Toy Story so far have done 4 movies, and they've all been amazing. Like, there's not a weak link, really. Like, some people might like one over the other. Some people thought 4 was a little weak. I thought it was a fantastic send-off. There hasn't. What I'm saying is there's not a bad one in the bunch. To take this idea of like toys coming to life and be able to go 4 movies with it, well done. Well done. And number 2, The Sixth Sense, which was M. Night Shyamalan's best movie. Was it his only good movie? I don't know. I haven't seen Unbreakable and the one... I saw Split, but I haven't seen the one where those 2 movies meet, the third one. But everything else... but The Sixth Sense was great. However, it was ruined for me. Someone told me what happened. Like, they said it and they were, oh no, oh shit, sorry, I've ruined it for you. I was like, yeah, you have now, I guess. By the way, I hate when people say, I won't spoil it, but you'll never see the twist coming. Well, now you have ruined it. Because now I'm looking for a twist. All right? The whole idea of why a twist works is because it's a surprise. It's a twist because you didn't see it. I never saw the twist coming because you weren't expecting to see anything, and then it surprised you in a way that twists everything. Saying to someone you won't see the twist coming is like saying, I'm not going to tell you exactly where the ambush will happen. Well, now I'm looking for it, and now I'm watching everything through a different lens with different information. Because now I'm looking for the twist. And anyway, don't say that. If you say that to people, don't. Stop it. Stop it. Number 1, in 1999, no surprises here, Star Wars Episode 1. I was so excited for this. I mean, look, I know there is so much wrong with Star Wars. I mean, the clue was in the opening 20 seconds when Star Wars has just been this franchise that ultimately comes down to good versus evil. That was it. That was a strong point of Star Wars. If you boil it down, it is good versus evil. In light of everything else. And when the opening crawl starts going, the taxation of Trade Federation routes, I'm like, no, oh God, what is this? Okay, I'm not going to rag on Episode 1 here because there's so much of that on the internet, okay? What I will do is go through the things that Episode 1 got right. And by the way, I was so excited for this. I remember seeing the trailer and I could not wait. There had not been a bad Star Wars movie up until this point. It had just been an amazing trilogy that people loved. All right, there was only 3 movies. And if you ask me, it probably should have stayed there. Did I go to the midnight screening of this? Yes. Did I buy toy lightsabers? Yes. Did my friend and I choreograph a lightsaber battle to do it at the cinema? You bet your ass we did. We were so excited. So excited. I cannot tell you. And then it starts, and then okay. Anyway, the things that Episode 1 got right. Okay, plenty of things are wrong, but this is what it got right. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. We're seeing 2 Jedi in their prime. The relationship between them, the Master and Padawan. The casting of Liam Neeson and Ewan McGregor was perfect, perfect. And even the escape from the Trade Federation ship at the beginning, with seeing 2 Jedi in their prime, using lightsabers, using Force speed against these droids. Well, it was awesome. That was great. All right. The pod race is an incredible action scene. It's perfect. It is the best race scene I've ever seen in a movie. Duel of the Fates, the song by John Williams. That one. That is a fantastic piece of music, and it's probably the 3rd best Star Wars theme, and the first 2 are only writing there because of nostalgia. It is a fantastic song. Darth Maul as a villain and his double-edged lightsaber. Oh my God. Yes, nailed it. We want this villain to stick around. No, he's dead. But he was an amazing villain while he was around. And the final lightsaber duel, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, and especially Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul, is, fight me, it's the best lightsaber duel in all of Star Wars. Fight me. I dare you to tell me to find a better lightsaber battle than that. Okay? And any other contenders, I would argue, are just being fueled by emotion. But this was also being fueled by, it's perfect. The rest, shit. Ugh. Anyway, Times Person of the Year is Jeff Bezos. Fucking billionaires, man. Do you know what I don't get about billionaires? It's like, when someone is like going to run a marathon or do something and they're like, I'm doing it for charity and you can sponsor me so we can raise money to, to fight this disease or something. That implies that, and the more money, the better. That implies that a huge amount of money would help the research, possibly even find a cure for said disease, right? Why is that pressure on Brian from Stoke running a marathon and raising a very respectable £2,000 amongst his peers? Great, thank you, Brian. But imagine a billionaire could just go, oh, if it's just money, I could just throw $1 billion at this thing and potentially cure this disease. Why don't they do that? Why don't they do that instead of flying to space? Or buying Twitter? Why don't they go, with my money, I could cure a disease or fund research for this? And, you don't even have to be a good human being to do this. Like, you could do it for the reasons purely for narcissistic ones. Just purely so you could say, like, I wanted to be in the papers and get praised for being the one that eradicated MS or whatever, Even from a purely narcissistic standpoint, that would still be a good thing for them to do. Right? It would make people like you and you would seem more human. Zuckerberg, wouldn't you like people to think you're human? Am I wrong here? Do you see what I mean? I'm not saying people shouldn't run for charity. What I'm saying is, if it just takes money to do these things, why billionaires, or even governments, just like, don't buy a new submarine, like fucking cure whatever we need to cure, Let's eradicate cancer rather than getting another rocket out there. What else happens in 99? Personally, after being dumped, I get into improv for the first time ever. I'm starting to make new friends, and some of these friends are in the improv club at school, and they asked me to join. And I do. Oh, that's right. I choose drama. I fought my parents, and I was able to choose drama as one of my school subjects. And I think the trade-off was that I would do physics and like all the rest were like maths stuff. Like, because I think I wanted to do history, but like to do drama and PE. I cannot believe my parents let me do drama and PE. Oh shit! No, you don't remember my PE teacher. My PE teacher, one of the movies that came out in 1999 was The Blair Witch Project, right? And we watched this at school, not in English as a thing, because it would come out. What happened was our PE teacher had managed to get a dodgy copy of it. And one lesson just said, hey, have you guys heard of this new movie, The Blair Witch Project? And we were like, yeah, it's just supposed to be coming out in cinemas. She went, I've got a copy of it. Should we watch it? And we were like, yeah, okay. How batshit is that to think of? Like, a teacher in PE said, no, we're not going to do the lesson today because I have a pirated copy of a horror movie that I'm going to show to high school kids. I love that this happened. And I don't know if she thought of the ramifications. Like, A, people say, what are you doing showing pirated movies to children? B, one of us freaks out and is traumatized by this R18 movie being shown to like 15, 16-year-olds. Anyway, that's how I watched The Blair Witch Project. And also, we started watching it, and we got about half an hour through, and she just goes, this is boring, isn't it? And to truth, it is slow burn, but oh my god, I just remembered that. So yeah, sixth form, I get into improv, and I start getting to drama, and I love it. I love it. They do lunchtime every Wednesday. They do a lunchtime show, and it would actually be filled with students, and we do little improv shows, and that was I just loved it. I loved it. I also this year, one of the friends I made through improv, he was a guy who was a year younger than me, but he was bigger and stronger than me, and during high school, I don't know why, but I really got into the Rat Pack. like Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr. music. I don't know why, but I just did. Why did I? I don't know. Anyway, I would listen to those CDs so much. Anyway, this other guy, he liked these crooners as well. Crooners, listen to me, from last century. Anyway, for the school talent show, we became good friends, and we did a dance to "Come Fly With Me" by Frank Sinatra. And part of the dance, I jump into this guy's arms. Like, when you like when cartoons, they're scared and they jump into it, like, when Scooby jumps into Shaggy's arms, like that. And he's holding me there in his arms. And he was big and strong enough that to get out of this, he did a basket toss out where he throws my legs over, and I kind of do like an assisted backflip out of his hands. And we did this at the school talent show, and it was great. We had so much fun. We got a great response, and we couldn't believe, like, what are we doing? Kids in the 90s were going for this. Anyway, we came second. Do you know who we came second to? We came second to Hayley Westenra, who, if you don't know, is a New Zealand professional opera singer who, at the time, was going to the same high school and had a professional recording contract while she was at high school. And we came second to her, and I remember thinking, Hayley Westenra, you don't need this. Why are you in this talent competition? Let us have something, you professional recording artist. I remember feeling like, I think we would have won if we went for the professional singer. So yeah, oh my God, years later, my wife and I were at a rugby game. I think this was in London. And we, the All Blacks were playing or something, and Hayley Westenra was there. I think she'd sung the New Zealand national anthem for this game or something, and I had a few drinks. And, from the stands, I'm like, she couldn't hear. I just go, Hayley, I came second to you in a high school talent competition, Hayley. Do you remember? My boy, and he's just going, shut up, stop it. So yeah, clearly I was over it, and I don't carry any resentment at all. Hayley Westenra, your professional recording contract. Anyway, guys, this has been really fun. I'm going to stop that there. Thank you so much for listening. This has been really fun. I loved talking about The Matrix and Star Wars and everything else. And also my stories, getting through it and talking about it. I hadn't thought about that breakup in literally decades. So thanks for rehashing that memory. Anyway, guys, keep safe. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.